This is the Butterfly brand number 2412 solid brass kerosene pressure stove. It produces about 7,000 BTUs of heat, enough to boil water or cook a meal. The stove burns kerosene vapor, not liquid. It does not have a wick, and because it vaporizes the kerosene first, it's almost 100% efficient. That means your fuel will last longer, and there will be virtually no fuel odor while burning. This is the only pressure stove designed to be portable. The top, the supports, and the burner can be disassembled and the fuel tank can be capped. Then the whole stove can be put into a backpack. Now, before using your stove for the first time, pour in about 4 ounces of clean kerosene and swish it around to clean out any particles that may have collected inside the tank during manufacturing. Then empty and dispose of the kerosene and refill it about 3/4 full using clean kerosene. Starting a pressure stove is easy if you understand the principle of operation. In order to vaporize the kerosene to get the stove started, the brass burner must be heated first. You start by loosening the air bleed screw that releases pressure from the tank. We'll tighten this later when we're ready to start pumping the stove. On the middle of the burner is a spirit cup. This will be filled with denatured alcohol, which can be purchased at any hardware store. It's about 95% pure alcohol. Do not use rubbing alcohol, as it's a watered-down version and will not burn hot enough to heat the burner. Fill the spirit cup to the brim with the denatured alcohol. I use this filler cup that comes with the Butterfly pressure lantern. You must fill the cup completely. Once lit, keep the can of alcohol away from the flame as it is very flammable. Next, you light the alcohol with a match. It will burn with a light blue flame. Now, it takes a couple minutes for the burner to get hot enough to vaporize the fuel. So about 15 seconds before the alcohol is gone, we're going to close the air bleed screw and start pumping the stove gently. This will push a small amount of fuel from the tank up inside the burner, and we'll watch the venturi at the top of the burner to see what happens. This will tell us if the stove is hot enough to start. At some point, we will see flames between the flame ring and the top of the burner. That will be our indication that the stove is now hot enough to sustain itself. The alcohol that was in the spirit cup will burn away, and now the only flame we'll see is the one at the top of the burner. At this point, the flame from the burner is keeping the burner hot enough to sustain the reaction. We can pump the stove another 10 to 20 times to increase the intensity of the flame. Hold the stove with your other hand carefully so as not to splash or spill the burning alcohol. Now, it'll take a few minutes for the flame to get to its maximum intensity, and the stove will make a little roaring sound while operating. The burner that comes with the stove is nicknamed the Roarer. We do sell an optional burner that has a wider, softer flame that is quieter. While cooking, you can reduce the heat output of the stove by releasing some of the pressure using the air bleed screw. You can see the flame going down. Likewise, you can increase the heat output by pumping the stove to build up pressure. If you have a hot pot on the stove, you should remove that before pumping for safety. Here is the optional burner. It's a little larger, has a softer flame, and doesn't make as much noise. Once again, this is the Butterfly brand number 2412 brass kerosene pressure stove, available from stpaulmercantile.com and from kerostove.com. That's K-E-R-O stove.com. Or call 888-395-1164.